I'm Glenn Martin, and I'm talking about a new book I've written on ethics, being released in March 2020. It's called A Foundation for Living Ethically. It's hard to imagine anyone being interested in a new book on ethics. Ethics itself doesn't change, and people either choose to live ethically or they try to get away with doing unethical things. However, a lot of talk about ethics is confused or confusing, or weak, or too rigid, or it is merely aimed at bolstering social conventions. Perhaps there is a place for a new book on ethics. Every day you can read an appalling story about unethical acts. The context can be politics, or business, or people's personal lives, or the actions of groups of people collectively. Someone, a person or a company or a politician, lied or cheated or was nasty, cruel, mean, violent or greedy and unfair. But is there anything new to be learnt from this sad litany? Should we just hope the police, the regulators and the critics do their jobs well and arrest such behaviour, so to speak? The trouble is, it's disheartening to continually hear about such behaviour. It has not been arrested or extinguished, and the excuses for unethical behaviour just keep on coming. Most commonly, it is the argument that the world is a tough place, and you have to be tough to survive. For example, we are told by corporations that their survival depends on strong, tough actions. To be fair or kind is not seen as fairness or kindness. It is seen as weakness, as an inability to do what needs to be done to succeed. And the inference is that this success is then society-wide, and it is what enables any one of us individually to prosper. The implied promise is that we all share in the spoils of this behaviour. This is a bludgeoning argument. I think that the people who make these statements think that if they say it loudly enough, often enough and brazenly enough, it will prevail. So, one of the contributions of my new book is to remind readers that what those people are saying is not true. They are Albert claims. We seem to have forgotten what an Albert claim is. It is best explained through an example. Imagine a particularly belligerent child who says, "I should have all the lollies." This is not true, as you might guess. There is no reason or justification for the claim, and the child knows it. But, and here is the thing, if they say it boldly enough, wouldn't it be fabulous if people just accepted it? Then they could have all the lollies, and people would be accepting it submissively. I think that a lot of talk about or against ethics in our society is no more sophisticated than this. But I also think that ethics, or human values, are core to our being as humans, and we ache for someone to explain to us how this is so. This is what I've set out to do in my book. It's a simple path that I take the reader on. I start, astoundingly enough, with a definition of ethics. Things have become so warped that, in ethics courses, you can be told that ethical egoism is a defensible ethical position. What is ethical egoism? It is the stance that, in my actions, I can at all times be looking after only my own interests. This is a travesty, and the worst part is, I may be the first person to say so. This is the antithesis of ethics. In the book, I critique a number of definitions of ethics from moral philosophers. The definition I use is drawn from Albert Schweitzer, the doctor, missionary, and Nobel Peace Prize winner in 1952. His definition of ethics is grounded in the thought that ethics is about feeling an obligation to consider the well-being of others as well as our own. That is my starting point. So simple and yet so fundamental. and this is why I say that the book provides a foundation for ethics. Some people have asked me if I follow Schweitzer's dictum of reverence for life. My answer is, not in this book. This was a deep insight that Schweitzer had at a certain point in his life. The point of my book is to start with day-to-day situations and explain how ethics shows up there and how to address day-to-day issues. What I offer is a set of 5 core human values. I say there are 5 values because one value is not enough. Let's face it, very often our struggle is between different values. It's not always a simple battle between right and wrong. Here's an example you may be able to relate to, given that we have all been a child and a student, and now maybe some of you are parents or teachers. You have to give feedback to a child or a student on a piece of work. The battle here is between truth and love. Love as caring. You could give feedback that was truthful, but do it in a way that was crushing for the child or the student. Somehow, you have to find a pathway that contains both truth and love. It does not mislead the child, but it also encourages them. What are the 5 core human values? Truthfulness, peacefulness, right action, which is a bundle consisting of fairness, justice, respect, and kindness, then compassion or love, and appreciation. I explain all of this in the book. Why are there 5 core human values? Because humans are made up of 5 faculties: cognition, emotion, a valuing faculty, spirit or energy, and soul or psyche. In other words, the 5 human values are built into our nature. The human values and all the supporting values we can derive from them are part of us. They are not stuck on or imposed on us from the outside. And committing to living ethically then becomes a journey that deepens and enables us to live authentically and grow. It starts with the acceptance of responsibility for our actions and behaviour. That is, a commitment to not being deceitful and not causing harm to others. This foundation enables us to find answers to the common questions to which ethics gives rise, such as, what is conscience? How do we make ethical decisions? What is the relationship between ethics and success? Or between ethics and happiness? Why do people act unethically? Why do people act ethically? The other reason the book is called a foundation is that with the concepts in the book, you can proceed to deal with all manner of human and social questions. This foundation can inform us how to deal with climate change, how to act in the business world. Yes, the same principles apply, much as some people would try to tell you that it is exempt from ethical rules. In this way, the book is empowering. The book does not suggest that the practice of ethics is simple, because life situations can be full of complexity. Nor does it resort to rigid rules, because life is complex. But the principles are clear. Ethics is not weak, and it often requires courage. And at the heart of it, ethics aligns with joy. Lastly, the book gives an explanation for the diagram. It has 5 lines, so you can guess that they stand for the 5 core human values. Find the book through my website. Enjoy.